currency wars is putting it too strongly. Draghi talking down the euro, Fed officials talking the dollar up. How dangerous is this getting?
Well, I don't know that it is too strong to say it's currency wars. Actually, I think that's exactly what we have. We know that the US was excellent at this game between 2002 and 2012 in talking down the dollar and doing it very effectively. We know that the Japanese finally learned how to fight back in 2012, and here we have Mario Draghi doing exactly the same thing. We can argue perhaps about the exact details of how he's doing this because he can't do QE, but certainly the negative deposit rate doing everything that he's been looking for with the currency. And make no mistake, that's exactly the implication of everything he said over the summer. So I think that he is getting exactly what he wanted, which is a cheap euro. Question is whether the Fed is happy with that or not. All
right, and how much lower is the euro going to go, do you think? And when do we start worrying about, and maybe it's way too early to start worrying about this pressure on inflation?
Well, I think it is way too early because quite clearly one of the things they'd like to see is a pick-up inflation. Whether you consider imported inflation to be good or bad is rather a different matter. But to me, I mean, first of all, you've got to remember that all we're doing in terms of the price movements we're seeing is moving back to a more normal level of volatility. I don't think anybody has any major issues with that. And secondly, are we moving back towards what we would consider to be fairish value, around about 120? Yes, I think that's pretty well and much exactly what we do. So I don't think anybody in Europe's going to have any major issues with what's happening. Whether others are looking at this carefully and thinking, well, Europe's doing a good job of weakening their currency, perhaps we should as well. And I'm thinking New Zealand most obviously here. I think that's the really interesting bit of this story right now.
Talk about non-farm payrolls, the ECB, the French, we're getting the 2015 budget bill presented today. Italian government's meeting on labour reform. The Spanish cabinet is meeting on Catalonia. What's the big event risk for you, or is it all of it?
Well, I think the fact that it is so many events, so many different details that could come out over the course of the next few days, and the total lack of any kind of yield and the total lack of any chance of starting to get any yield, to me, we've already got to that point of understanding exactly where we're going to be. There's no real reason to be in the euro right now. Maybe people will start to think a little bit about Thursday, but as I said, we've already got a negative deposit rate and it is clearly starting to impact. So for me, we've already got the key story there, and all that I think that Thursday will bring is just a confirmation that will be the continuation of the story. Maybe we'll get a little more about what they'll do next if the TLTROs don't quite deliver, but I think we've already got the key story.